today.
Oh, Tim Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah.
All this, yeah.
Yeah, so you changed your hours. How else have you been spending your time? I know you've been really hitting the gym right now.
Yeah, so literally, what is it? Today was my first day on mornings. And then that was cool. And then what me and Ian are starting to do now is today we're going to set up our ice baths. We got 255-gallon buckets.
Yeah.
And then at 5 in the morning, we'll do ice baths. I would do a run. And then after work, I'm lifting.
That's nice. That's a lot of fun, yeah.
And then I do want to talk to you, or obviously jiu-jitsu too is something that I want to get into. But
yep, I'm doing it twice a week now. He was talking about Carl, one of the trainers there. He also does Fridays, but right now I'm just doing Monday and Wednesdays.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did a little bit of boxing with Christian. He showed me some really cool shit, and I'm still trying to get the fundamentals of jiu-jitsu right now. I've been watching like Gordon Ryan videos and stuff. That's what John McDowell said. He was talking about at practice to everybody what videos for everyone to watch. I think Gordon is way taller than I thought he was. That guy's 6'2" though. I'm fucking like 5'10". So I might have to watch someone a little shorter.
Yeah.
Because I can't get into certain spots those lanky guys can't get
into. Reach. Yeah, like tall guys, it really is a good sport for them because they can wrap their arms around.
They can do the fucking leg locks and shit.
When we get somebody, it's done.
Yeah.
When you have shorter arms, it's tighter, so I feel like when you lock in, if you can get it locked, they're fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm trying to learn the fundamentals right now of escaping, is what Gordon said. So that way, it's kind of like wrestling. Like, I remember in the beginning of wrestling, I wanted to learn bottom first, so if I was so I can defend myself. There's no point of me learning to pin the guy if I'm not well-rounded enough to be able to defend myself when he's on top.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just fucked.
Which
so
Bobby always preached.
Yeah, so it's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. You want to learn how to get out of everything and not be able to put yourself in submissions, and then once you're at that level, you can learn to submit other people.
And they really believe in like putting yourself in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And Wendell started to implement that in high school. I don't know if you were around for that, but like just putting yourself in a shitty spot so you can
get out of it.
Yeah, escape. Like, I'm going to put you at the guy having a fucking double leg. Can you defend it? You know what I mean? So when it blows the whistle.
Or in the fucking, what was that called? The wizard? When the
exactly.
That's a weird one too.
Yeah, see who's going to be able to scramble out of it. Because obviously if you have it under you, you got the advantage.
Dude, it's fun. You'd love it a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I did love it. This is why I love this fucking, I'm so happy to be on 7 to 3s because I can do stuff after work.
At night now, yeah.
Like before, it's like 3 to 11 you can't, or freaking 11 to 7, obviously. That's just, like, night's just way harder than I thought. Like, you're just never used to it. Your body's just tired always. You know what I mean? Because what is it called? You just want to go to bed at night.
Melatonin's off?
Yeah, you just want to go to bed at night. Like, your body's like, hey, go to bed. And you're like, no, can't go to bed.
Right, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I would definitely never do it again. It's so hard on your body.
Yeah. So you're working 7 to 4 now?
7 to 3, but I'm usually there. Like, I have other stuff I have to do after the shift, whether that's like counter drawer or like other stuff that management has me do. So
that makes sense. Yeah. Are you working out in the morning, or are you going to start working out after then?
So I'm going to work out. Today I'll work out at like 5, which I don't really, or not 5, whenever we're done with this. And then I'm going to run in the mornings. So like not a crazy amount. I'm going to do 2 miles a day for running. And then Sunday I'm going to do mileage, which mileage is actually, it's just easier on your body. Even though you're running further, you're just not going fast. So me and Ian did like 4 miles Sunday. It was just beautiful. We were in the country just running.
Yeah, you can tell people that don't do cardio.
Yeah.
I like to do the HIIT exercises for cardio, and then I'm just going to do jiu-jitsu or boxing. I was just doing boxing for cardio, but I hate running.
Well, I was trying to think about like what athleticism and what that means to me. And to me, that's like, I want to be big, but I want to be at my max capacity of big, but also athletic as fuck.
Right.
So I'm just finding that right now, my body still wants to get big right now. So I'm still like going, but I think you can tell when somebody's like, you know what I mean? You get too big. Like, I have a lot of friends where they like bodybuilding and then their cardio just.
That's because they don't do cardio though. Yeah. Bodybuilders don't do cardio.
And then it's like you're like,
and then they're just mouth breathers the whole time.
yeah,
like Sam Sulek, he's always out of fucking breath,
Yeah.
and he's like, because he's so massive,
yeah,
which he actually does do cardio. He actually always preaches about it. It's also probably the amount of fucking tren he puts in his ass.
Yeah. And just when you're like
doing
you have that much weight on
Yeah.
that frame, it's harder to breathe, dude. You're
yeah,
big, like you're huge. You're too big for that his size, and that's what I just don't want to be like that. I'd rather be 190 pounds and I could sprint, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do anything like that's.
yeah, that's where I'm trying to be at too. I would want to stay in the 200s. I'm cutting a little bit right now. I just got tired of eating so fucking much, bro.
It's
Like,
so sickening.
yeah.
I'm trying to do like 3,000 calories or like 2,500 in.
I was doing like 3,500 to 4,000, and dude, I did this for like 3 years, and you literally have to just drink water with your food.
I did that. I've been doing what you said, and it works so much easier.
Yeah, just to get it down because
I just swallow.
you don't want to swallow the food in your mouth. Like it's.
I was
literally
just talking
like,
to this,
disgusting.
or I posted that video, basically your
Uh-huh.
relationship with food,
Yeah,
and that was so interesting with me. And I think,
I didn't see that. Yeah.
yeah, fasting a lot throughout the years, even though it went way too far, just overworking,
Uh-huh.
which honestly is what got me into fitness again. Preston just commented on that. I've had so many people tell me that like I look sick.
Mm-hmm.
I like when I was small.
Yeah.
And grandma was saying I look sick, so I was like, dude,
I think it's a trend right now to be skinny too. It's like,
people don't like masculine men. It's weird.
yeah, they don't want any muscle on them.
Skinny little guys.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I do think that's 100%. It's weird.
Well, how are you gonna protect your family too? It's like fucking. You think you're just gonna walk up like a little fucking stick guy?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
that's why I want to have muscle mass, and I don't mind running. I have a torn ACL and a broken ankle though, so am I really gonna outrun anyone? Probably not. But
I've shocked myself though. Like I sprinted for the first time probably in a couple years, which was crazy. I started sprinting because I read this thing that it was like 70% of people at the age of 30 will never sprint again. That was
really,
a crazy statistic to me. I was like that, and it makes sense.
yeah.
Like at 30 years old, you're in your career.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are usually out of shape. You know what I mean? If they're doing cardio, they're usually like jogging. They're not physically like sprinting. I guess it's weird. Like I never thought about it until I watched the video. It's like, when is the last time that you sprinted?
I sprint just fucking around, honestly.
Really?
When I'm like playing with Rocky or something, but that's why I like doing sports. I would rather just do that than sprint to me. But I get what you mean. There is like something about jumping too. Like I saw a video of some old guy and he literally didn't know how to jump anymore.
Yeah, your body like it's weird. If you don't do those movements consistently, it atrophies and it doesn't want to do it anymore.
Well, muscles are dumb. Like it's actually neurons in your brain that are firing, and this is what people think is muscle memory, but it's not your muscles that remember how to do it. It's your brain. So once you don't do it for a long time, obviously those receptors aren't getting used, and muscles are dumb. Like your body isn't just going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
If you like one day you're like, oh, let me do it one day.
Yeah.
It's not just going to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's not how that works. So
Yeah.
that Shawn guy just came out of nowhere. He blew up. I don't even know much about him. How did you find him?
I've actually watched videos about him in the past.
Uh-huh.
Ian watches him, but Tim Kennedy is just so much more of a decorated soldier than I thought he was.
Yeah, I want to get to that, but I
Oh,
wanted to hear what you have to say about Shawn Ryan since you watched him. He was a Navy SEAL, and that's about as much as I know about him.
I don't know his background too well. I know that he usually likes to interview guys like Tim Kennedy,
Yeah.
like guys that are very decorated.
Yeah, I was going through
You
his
know.
YouTube. He had some very interesting people on there. So I really want to check him out.
Just super
Yeah,
level-headed
now.
too. Like he really knows what questions to ask.
Yeah.
When I was watching the Tim Kennedy interview, Tim Kennedy's been on a lot of people's podcasts today, but even Joe Rogan didn't like get him to go into what I saw the different side of Tim Kennedy.
Well-
He talked about his
Yeah,
I don't
Shawn
know,
Ryan
the
really
interview
opened
went-
him up.
yeah.
And I think that's partly because he was in a Navy SEAL. They both were able to relate about, I believe it was Afghanistan they were both stationed at in 2004. Is that the Afghanistan war?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up just so I'm not
Fact
saying
check.
shit.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not for sure either.
yeah. Really cool. It was Iraq. It was the Iraq war. So they were both in Iraq at the time.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. That was a
Did they-
5-hour podcast, dude. I didn't
Did
even
they
get
know
through
each
it
other?
all.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah. I'm just making sure these are on real quick. But I don't think they did know each other. They were just able to relate. They were both in Iraq, but yeah, I think that's what was able to
Just
make
going
him.
through that experience.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was
awesome.
awesome. Did you watch the whole thing?
I did not watch the whole thing. It was
How
so
far
long.
did you get?
I got like 2 hours in.
That's where I'm at right now, yeah.
And I need to go back and rewatch it and like really listen to it. There's just so much stuff that they talked about. It's crazy how much they talked about. Like,
Yeah.
it's really interesting just to look at the dynamic of how he was raised and how being a protector was just like, that was going to be him forever.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because he was raised like that with his family.
The dynamic was awesome.
Yeah, and I was able to relate with that with our family because we always protect each other, and I was like, that's
Yeah, it hit home.
because you don't hear that a lot with other people.
100%.
People are always talking shit on their families and stuff, and I'm like,
Protect your own. It
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense.
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of things that are going to come and go. Relationships, right, are not even given. They say the longest relationship in your life is usually your siblings, right? And those are your family is who you got in life.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
like that's forever. That's how I
like
see
your
it.
literal blood. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it. We never saw it as an option to like, hey, I'm mad at Landon. I'm not going to talk to Landon for years.
Yeah,
like
we
some
got
people, that's
over it.
common.
We
And I
moved
don't get
on.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dad, I think, preached that. It's like, no,
Family sticks together.
yeah, we're going to figure this out. We're
Yeah,
going to have
we-
an uncomfortable conversation about it.
Yeah.
How many like we'd all sit in like a group and like
Yeah.
just get it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was
So-
really cool. He did raise us the right way. For
And what
that.
did his dad do? His dad was a cop, right?
Yes, his dad was a cop. I did
But he
forget
did
about that.
big drug deals.
He was doing like the stuff for like the cartel, and he literally had to learn how to cook meth and shit.
Yeah.
He was literally cooking meth.
And his
Could
dad-
you imagine saying your dad cooks meth?
He was a part of the group that created basically undercover cops like
Yeah, just a complete
to
badass.
make big bust. So he was like, they would literally live the lifestyle. Like, you would act like a junkie or whatever. He portrayed like a gang member. And it's
Yeah.
crazy as fuck. And he took down some big people.
He did, and he showed Tim Kennedy how to do that. He was like, I heard Tim Kennedy say that he literally at the dining table would have his kids pick a side, and they would have to defend that side even if they don't agree with it.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's crazy.
He had just a really good family, it sounds like. And then his it's crazy how he just shows like what real masculinity is to me.
Yeah,
Which is like, you could be this, people just don't understand this. You can be this really strong guy, and he literally has killed lots of people, right? But
Yeah.
he comes home and he takes care of his family and just lives his life in an honest way. And I'm just like, I don't think masculinity can coincide with like being a good person. It's weird. It's like, if you're too masculine, like it's
people
so
are.
frowned upon.
Man, I wish we just went back to common sense. Keith was saying that too. He was funny. He was trying to tell me that masculinity is confusing. He thinks we need to redefine it, and I'm like, no, masculinity has been the same. since
That right there is an issue. That
Yeah.
like, to me, that is an issue. You just saying that masculinity is just like, it's just clear.
Yes. Well, there
Just
is,
masculine.
and I don't even know if you saw that podcast I had with him about good masculinity. And I don't know if he understands it now, but there are traits of masculinity that society needs. Masculine men are good leaders. We are competitive. We are loyal. And yes, you can turn traits around and be toxic, just how feminine, you can have toxic femininity. How do
Yeah.
you say that? Yeah.
Being yeah, I don't even know how to say that.
Yeah, femininity. Well, yeah.
It goes both ways,
Uh,
for sure.
yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't think, like if you look in culture right now, it's just like Joe Rogan talks about this when societies start to fail, it's when you start to act like like these hard jobs are not real anymore. Like nobody wants to go be a trash man anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to weld anymore. Nobody wants to do electrical anymore. Nobody wants to do HVAC anymore. These guys all want to be the number one thing that kids wanted to be last year growing up was an influencer. But we can't have all the influencers.
No, we can't.
We need good men that want to go do hard work.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at, I was just sent Ian a video. HVAC guys finally just took the reign for most paid, which is crazy. They should have been paid the most from the start. I mean, they know the most plumbing,
the most into it now.
The most electrical.
Yeah.
Right? They know
HVAC does.
Yeah, we know plumbing, electrical, and then obviously your units. Like if you are an HVAC guy and you've been in it for 5 years, you're not calling anybody for anything. Meaning you do plumbing enough. Like you're gonna know plumbing. You do. You know what I mean? We deal with all the same things.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So they're getting the study though that showed is in 5 years these guys are getting paid $300K plus a year. That's insane. That's average. So obviously Salina, Kansas, our cost of living is way lower. But if you're making $100,000 a year in Salina, Kansas, you are. You know what I mean? Just as an HVAC certified guy, that's not you with your. You know what I mean?
Do you think you want to go back into it now, or?
Not really. I think I know real estate is definitely where I'm leaning, but I respect the fuck out of those people, and I'm in a obviously workforce job, and those guys are going to start getting paid a lot of money because people just don't want to do it. I mean, it's any driver that comes in every day, they're just always asked, "Are you guys good on help here? Are you guys good on help here?" Because every company is just failing right now. You know what I mean? Because they just don't have workers. People don't work.
They don't.
And
It's weird too because going back to the feminine masculine thing, on average, men do the more hard jobs that are more death adverse, and that's why they get paid more.
Has to be that way.
It does have to be that way. Women don't do those hard jobs that men do, and so there's this weird thing right now where it's like.
We don't want to say the uncomfortable truth, I guess is what it is to me.
Yeah, and women don't do the hard jobs, and that's why they don't get paid. You're going to hire the best person for the job.
Yeah.
So to say that we need to pay more women better, it just sounds ridiculous because you're going to pay the person that does the best at that job. It's not going to be like you're just going to pay a woman just because they're a woman. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like how good are you, like, how good can you perform these tasks, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't do them at the same level as a guy, then you're probably not going to get paid what a man is going to get paid for that job.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's not even about woman or it's not about man or female. It's literally just about who is the best person for this job.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, and men just do those more adverse jobs where it is tougher, and that's why they get paid more. So, and same with the sports thing. I've seen the stuff with the WNBA. People talk about how they don't get paid enough. Personally, I don't watch WNBA.
It's about viewership.
Yes, it's all about views. And if you're the person that's saying they should get paid more and you're not watching them, you're such a big hypocrite. Because how are you going to say that they need paid more but you don't even watch them?
Well, it's interesting, this tennis player that retired, this well-decorated guy, tennis player, was getting compared to Serena Williams, and he was being very nice, but he said, I don't want to be compared. He said, what we do is very different. It's a different game. He's like, if you put her against me, she would lose, and that's just the fact. You know what I mean? And not that she would just lose, it'd be bad.
Yeah,
and we just can't.
Same with basketball too, or football.
Yeah,
it's like,
and if you believe that, if you truly believe that women can compete with men, then what he was saying is just let's put it together and just see. He's like, why not? Because he's like, in their sport, it's not like they're gonna get physically hurt.
We have way different biology.
Yeah,
we are bigger, we are stronger, we are faster. It's just what it is.
But I think women are very good at. There's other jobs that they're way better than us at. And that's where you're going to get paid.
Yeah, they're more nurturing, way more nurturing and emotional than men, I think.
So those HR jobs or any of those jobs where they're better at speaking than us typically, or dealing with their emotions better. So it just depends. Like, you just can't compare, I guess, yeah. What we do on a daily basis, I guess, is just very different.
Yeah, there are different demographics that are better at certain things.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it just seems silly to me to hire someone just because of their race or sex. It's just, I don't know. I'm looking about how you perform as an individual.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And that's how it should be. I like the way Tim Kennedy was talking about how he cheated in the Green Berets.
How they all cheated.
Yeah, with his teammates. Dude, it was hilarious.
Nobody, like, how he was just talking about there's ways you can get through it. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure they all do, but him just giving up the game like that was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure.
Well, Green Berets are smart too. So honestly,
if anybody's gonna think about how to,
yeah,
I'm sure.
Like, it's more than just fighting with the Green Beret. You have to know geographics. You have to be.
And where are they at? Like, they're special ops too.
They are special ops.
So they're just as gangster as a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, there's different special ops for all of them. So there's the Navy, which is Navy SEALs, and then the Army, which is the Green Berets. I don't know what the Air Force one is.
So Tim Kennedy's like, they would be land, basically, right?
They do water.
Really?
Green Berets do all of it.
So they do all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Navy SEALs primarily is water. I think Marines do all of it too. And there's a couple other special ops that I'm forgetting about that are pretty fucking badass. I don't know a lot about it. It's not my
me either, but I'm starting to look into it more.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
Because I have a lot of friends. Stoughton, you met him yesterday.
Yeah.
He was saying that he saw you at jiu-jitsu and he's just talking to me about it. And I was saying, yeah.
What's his name?
Stoughton. He's a Marine.
Oh, yeah. I did talk to him. Yeah, he works at
yes.
Beacon with you. Yeah.
So he's going right now to try to get active duty to be a Marine.
No way.
And those guys are that kid is just well-spoken. And
how do you think a special ops guy would do against a UFC fighter?
Done.
Same. Because they're trained to kill, right?
Yeah, so like it's
like
different.
I think they would absolutely kill.
And it's just an uncomfortable truth. I went to jiu-jitsu with these sorry guys. With these Marines when I was like,
dude, it doesn't matter if you know how to fight. These Green Berets know how to fight.
Like a freshman, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was saying like I dicked on all of them. Like they're taught to kill with knives and like how to kill you. Meaning I'm gonna grab your nutsack or just know like, you know what I mean? Like they're taught to like do the dirtiest shit.
Right.
This is not what this is. You know what I mean? Like jiu-jitsu is not gonna. It's just different training. I don't know why they don't do more. Like I think
because they're being nice.
Yeah,
that's what the whole sport is about.
I think Tim Kennedy.
They're trying to make it competitive and last longer, and it's just a whole different game.
What Tim Kennedy talked about this. I think
a real life street fight.
The lower level. What is it called? Like Army, Marines. I don't know when they start to, but they don't even train combat. Mm-hmm. Like as far as like real like physical fighting.
They're mostly doing guns then, or
like they're just not going into detail. Like I think they should literally train just jiu-jitsu. They train it like with knives and other shit. Like you want to know like real. I don't know.
Well, you want to have advantage over them.
Yeah.
War.
I just think it's
a show hand-to-hand combat too.
Yeah. It's just not in detail. Like
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So like if you're talking about sport level, I don't think Tim Kennedy was not the best UFC fighter, and he wouldn't beat a lot of those guys right now. But if you put Tim Kennedy just out on the street, oh my God, he's killing everybody.
So many people.
He's the scariest guy alive. I told people, like, not only was that guy, nobody did it what he did, ever. It's never been done. He was active duty while he's in the UFC. Really should have been a champion. Yeah, got fucked in that Romero fight and just was like, I'm done. Didn't win it. Great athlete. But not only can he just beat the fuck out of you, like in a real like UFC fight, top of the top fighting, but then he knows how to like fucking stab you or like who knows what else he was showing, you know what I mean? But when you get into the special ops, that's when they had great training. So I'm not saying anything about that. I just think Tim Kennedy was talking about lower level like Army guys. He was looking at the training and he just is not impressed with the way they're training guys now.
I can see that. And well, yeah, they've lowered the standards
in general.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, the people that are joining.
Because he was talking about this Navy SEAL kid that died in training, and he got posted. And he said the uncomfortable reality is, he's like, we're sending your sons over there to get tortured. You know what I mean? Be ready to be tortured,
Yes,
killed.
that's what
any
they
of that.
signed up for, though.
He's like, people are gonna die in training.
Yeah.
Like, and we do really fucked up shit to them. Yes, and that is how it should be. You can't have a soft guy go to war. It just doesn't even make sense.
I've heard people complain about being in the army when it's saying that they're too hard on them and shit. And it's like, dude, it's the fucking army. That is what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
Why would you want a soldier that is not prepared or not mentally strong?
Well, I was just talking.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. I was just talking to freaking.
There's gonna be people that die.
Yeah.
It's what you signed up for.
There's a lot of bad actors too. Like,
yeah.
A lot of people that I know. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I'm not gonna name their names, but like, it's crazy. They're just collecting benefits. So they're gonna go. They're gonna go sign up to be what is it called, reserve or whatever, and they just brag about, hey, we don't do shit and we get paid
until we have a civil war.
And I'm like, you're not a fucking. I'm not gonna sit here and call you. Like, it makes me not even want to
say thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I'm just like, dude, you're bragging to me about just taking advantage of our system. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's not cool.
If you're gonna go serve, like, that makes the people, like, you know what I mean, that actually serve for our country
look bad.
Yeah, it just sucks for them. Like,
yeah,
a guy like Stowen, you know what I mean? He's grinding to be a fucking Marine. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
That's real.
That is, dude. It is.
So I just don't get it. To me, it just sucks when you hear stories or people say shit like that. I know a girl from high school, she literally married a guy because the guy knew that he'd get more money from our government if they were married. The military would give him more money.
A lot of
people pay for their house.
In the military, they marry women very fast.
Yeah.
Just because they can collect benefits so quick.
Shit like that bothers me. I'm just like, come on. You know what I mean?
It is sickening, yeah. But there's faults in everything, and just what you're gonna have to accept. So it's not everything is perfect. But yeah, that is sad to see that. I'm still proud of the people that are in it. I just wish the people knew what they were signing up for. And I do think it is the recruiter's job to say that. So I think a lot of the times the recruiters just want to get bodies in there, which we do need bodies.
I know a kid that fails his. You go, right? You have to go physically and train, right? Mm-hmm. When you're in the reserves and keep up with the standard. Dude, he fails it every time, and they just keep, like, giving him the money. Like, shit like that. Like hearing that firsthand. I know this kid. If you look at this kid, you're like, how are you serving this country? You couldn't do anything. You're out of breath, just doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then you go over there, he goes and trains for a week, fails every test, and then they still send him his paycheck, and they never take him out. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, why wouldn't you take him out?
Like, to me, those kids need to be dropped, you know?
Yeah, just let out of the
Like, you're paying them for no reason. Why are you paying them? Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Why? I don't know.
And I'm an extreme patriot. That's why shit like that.
And it makes
you
people,
are too, yeah.
Yeah, it makes people think that they can just join the army and get away with doing shit like that. Too.
Yeah, shit like that bothers me. It's like, I almost want to just be like, hey, dude, like, don't fucking brag to me.
Obviously, it's not for you.
Yeah, get out of it,
do something
dude.
else.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Go do something that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
Don't sit here and look for an easy paycheck.
Right, exactly. No one wants to do anything that's hard anymore. It's a sad truth. I thought it was cool. When Tim Kennedy and they cheated and they buried the food. Okay, I'm not telling the story very good. So they had like a week I'm gonna explain it to them. You already heard the story, but they had like a week to be in the forest with no food, and they had a hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they saw these people that just came out so skinny because they had like no food and they were dying. And Tim Kennedy was like, I don't want to be like that. So I don't know if it was like one of his superiors that told him or something. And so they told him what region they were going to be in ahead of time before they went there. So he buried all this food under the ground. And then they came back. And they found, and Tim Kennedy showed all of them, there's 12 people, and one of them was like, no, that's not right. That's fucked up. I'm not cheating. And so they were still hunting, helping this guy out, even though they had all this food that they could just go eat. But they get to the interrogation because then it's like they get caught, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing that. And the guy snitches on all of them and he's like, they had food. They were all cheating. They had food and stuff. And after he told them that, all the other guys stayed in their circle. 11 of them did not quit and kept getting tortured and stayed with their brothers. But there was only one guy that left, and all the other 11 stayed. And it was the guy that snitched on him.
Yeah, and he was talking about it's the highest passed, right?
Yeah.
Like his class was the highest ever. Like usually they lose a lot of guys. Like maybe, I don't know if he said it, I don't even know if half of them made it usually from what he was saying. But it's very hard to make it is what he was saying. And basically that many people made it through the
That's what I was thinking, dude. I for sure thought like one of the other guys would have like snitched or something, but no, only one of them did. And I was like, what the fuck?
But he did say that was post 9/11. So he said like people wanted to go fight for their country during that time. So he's talking about like when he went into the training, you know what I mean? Like nobody wanted to opt out. It was the last thing. Every guy wanted to fight for the US. You know what I mean? At that time, it was just a hard time for our country. Everybody was fucking pissed off.
He had such an interesting childhood and way to grow up. So
crazy perspective on life. Like
Well, then after he got out of the Green Berets, he went to go hunt fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
Dude, that was fucking sick. I want to watch that documentary, actually.
He still does, like, it's weird. He does, like, weird contracted jobs through the government because they don't want him in.
Well, he helped with the Afghanistan when they were pulling out, and he wasn't in the army then.
Yeah, talking about all the dead bodies and shit that he saw. Like,
that was crazy.
And then he's helped at the border.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
No way.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Any big problem that America's had that the Biden administration has made major fuck-ups, like, where people's lives were fucked, he's been there helping those people, and he's just like this. That's why when I listen to a guy like him,
like that,
and he's saying like, "Hey, our standard for military is not high enough right now."
Yeah.
That he's scared for some of the men that are going into the military, and then he's saying like, you know what I mean? Our borders are fucked, and then all these things. Like you start to hear him talk, and you're like, this guy's been here firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take it from like a guy like, you know what I mean? I'm not speaking for myself. I'm not in the military. I can't say anything about it. But when you hear a guy like him say that the standard is just not where it used to be and all these fucking crazy issues we're having in the country, he's like, we need to figure this out and quick. Like a lot of these issues.
Yeah.
And it does scare me because he's an extreme patriot. Like if he's saying we're in a hard spot, you know, we need to come together as a country and solve some of these issues.
Yeah, we really do need to come.
But he doesn't think it's at the point of no return either, and I don't think so either. I think when I talk to you,
I think there's having a shift. Yeah, I think there's been a shift lately, and I see it. I still do believe there's so many fucking woke people that are just extremists, and it's on both sides. I would say more on the left side, but I can see it on the right side too. Yeah,
I talk to a lot of people today, and you're just like,
yeah,
you see that side too, 100%. It's not just one side.
Yeah.
Before any big shift in society, though, it usually gets worse before it gets better, and that's always been the saying. So I think I definitely agree with you.
It's getting better. We've seen the worst.
100, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think now people are kind of like, oh,
okay, what's going on?
Yeah, and they're actually doing their own research, you know.
Yeah. It's really weird. Well, I was reading. Did you ever look at that app that showed you how to like read books? It only goes over a couple of chapters, but it goes over like major points.
I don't know why the fuck I didn't download that. I totally forgot about it.
It's fucking cool, bro. It's legit.
I'm gonna download it.
Like I went over a couple different books, and it's actually showing me like what other books I kind of want to read and stuff. And it has me on a path right now just for like communicating and negotiating, which is part of communicating, I guess. But one of them was talking about politics. I don't even know if it was actually a book, it was just an article. It was talking about the polarizations of the left and right. And so this is the left, this is the right. Right now, it's like, these are the polarizations. Everybody's like wants to pick a side and say, oh, you're the bad guy, you're the bad guy. When in reality, we have so much common ground in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fucking insane. And if people are just too naive to say it or even look at it, and they just want to.
You're just being arrogant.
Yeah.
And then you want to speak on it like you're an expert, like people
Yeah.
do. I just don't. Me and Ian talk about this all the time, and I just feel like it's true. We realize when we're talking about most situations, it's just not a yes or a no answer. So I can see Ian's point of view and be like, I see what you're saying, and it makes sense. It's valid, but I don't agree with it because this is the research that I did. You know what I mean? And what you're gonna do is you just like you said, like sometimes you can just meet in the middle or just
respectfully disagree. Right. Yeah. Well, while there's these polarizations right now is because everybody gets stuck in their own echo chamber, and that's cool that you and Ian watch different stuff and you're like, oh, okay, this is what I saw, this is what I saw. Because when you get stuck in that same echo chamber of people around you just saying the same stuff over and over, that's what creates those polarizations. You never have anyone else tell you that you have a different idea or thought. Everyone just agreeing with you all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anyone good, I think.
When I was watching this too, because I've been reading, obviously relationships have been a big thing for me, just as far as with family, friends, how you treat people in general. And this guy said you should never want to win an argument. And what he meant by that, crushing someone to win, you know what I mean? Makes no sense. That's not what you're trying to do when you're having a conversation. And a lot of people, they just know it doesn't matter if you're gonna fuck up a friendship, a relationship, whatever. It's hey, when you're arguing because you want to win that conversation.
Right? Yeah, but exactly.
You should never want to win a conversation. Yeah. It's just you should just, if you don't agree, you disagree. And you should
disagree or meet in the middle to find the truth.
Yeah.
And so what's helping me is what I read. I'll have to send you the podcast. I'm actually gonna upload it today, but I can send it in the group chat. What me and Keith were talking about with communication skills and
a lot of people
look at behind people's motives for what they're saying, and a lot of the time people don't know how to express the act or express how they're talking, so they do it in their actions. So if you're looking at thinking rationally, what would be the motives of people defunding the police? So they can be anarchists. They want to tear shit down and do shit that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That'd be the only reason that you'd want to defund the police.
Yeah.
What other reason would it be?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's not for doing good things.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. So, yeah, looking behind the motives of what other people are talking about.
Yeah. I just think in general, even if it's not something deep, if you're just having, I think it's just so broad. I just think when I read that, it just made so much sense, which is you just don't want to, you should never want to crush somebody in a conversation in general. You don't want to argue. You're not sitting there to make somebody feel like shit, right? And a lot of people, when emotions get heightened, you just want to fucking crush that person. So you're going to keep spitting at them. You're going to, you know what I mean? And people get emotional, then they talk louder. The goal is not to win. Like you said, is to come together and either you find a new insight that both of you agree on.
Yeah.
Or just agree to disagree.
Well, how to not let emotions get high is you could first come into the conversation with your heart open. Don't just do it for you just being right. You guys are on the same team, is what you have to realize, and this is what I realized with mine and Madeline's relationship for arguments. Is because in the beginning, it's oh, I'm just trying to prove you wrong. My own ego is getting in the way. So it's we're on the same team together. I'm not just doing this because I'm looking out for the best interest for both of us. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the truth.
Yep. What you just said is perfect.
Yeah. Because once you realize the motives behind what someone is saying, it's or behind what you're saying. So you want to look at motives and respect. Whenever you realize the other person's motives, or you think there's a disconnect of respect between you guys, and you're self-aware of that, it can shift the whole conversation. Because now you're aware that you want to be right, and so does she does.
Yeah.
And then none of you each other are respecting each other.
Yeah. And
so let's go back to how we can both respect each other, and to where we're getting out of the way of our own egos.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, because that's what it is, right? Every time.
Yeah.
Like when you're getting passionate about it, it's your own ego getting in the way.
Right.
So
yeah.
let it go. And that's something
Yeah.
that I've been trying to figure out. There's a fine balance of like taming that beast, right? Like you want to have an ego to an extent because you want to be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
But you also, I think like what I realized in most situations, just you can let it go. Like if somebody makes a dumbass comment or something, like you just don't have to
dude.
or you don't even have to entertain it.
Uh-huh.
Because it just throws your fucking what you're doing off. If somebody in general, if people are talking bad about you or you're doing something right. You know what I mean? Like don't let somebody throw off your energy, like I don't know.
Most of the time it's a problem that's as small as a fly.
Yeah.
Like why are you making it a big deal anyways?
Yeah.
Most of the time it's not. And you can talk to the person and truly figure out if there is something going on between you guys, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't like when people will like change the subject or
because they're just
stop talking or
they don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
And I think like in any relationship that has to
I would rather see you get mad and aggressive with me and I can calm you down so we can have a true conversation than just like go nowhere with the conversation, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
You cannot have a successful friendship, anything, like in your job or whatever, if you're not having those uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah,
you want a pay raise? Like how many people have this problem? I see it all the time at work. They're mad about their pay. They think they're great at their job, but they'll never go address the situation. They'll never go talk to the guy that can give them the pay raise. Well, you don't believe you deserve that pay raise then. You don't have enough confidence. You have to like, just in any situation, you know what I mean? Like if you're uncomfortable, like you have to have uncomfortable conversations. Even in fitness, you have to be uncomfortable to be healthy. You know what I mean? Those things are just, I don't know. You should never want to be, the moment you become complacent in anywhere in life, you need to reevaluate it and figure out where you're going wrong. Because you should never want to just stay in one spot in anywhere in life.
No.
You know what I mean? Any facet of your life, you should never want to
get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like once you realize that you're in a comfortable spot, like I don't like that feeling, honestly. I don't like being too comfortable. I'm like I need to keep chasing personal growth for myself.
Yeah, I'm like what well, and that's what I like, because I told Dad for like 3 months, for the first time ever in my life, I was going to work less, and I was just going to focus on myself. And Dad keeps blowing up my phone, you know what I mean, asking, like, what are we going to get? And I really just took that time to, like, actually just self-develop, like, you know what I mean, and work on areas that I sucked at. Yeah. Because I realized, I mean, we talked about this, which is, if you don't have a good purpose of why you want success, you know what I mean, then what are you doing it for? So like, why are you sacrificing all this? And then there's just a balance, you know what I mean? Work is not life. And I had to realize that. And that was a very hard thing for me, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to balance things. And balance is something that's been the hardest reoccurring thing that's happened in my life. I'm not good at balance. It's
a lot of people are. A lot of people lack balance. Like they try to avoid that they're bad at people skills or aren't doing stuff with their family, but they think that they make up for it because they make so much money. Yeah. And in reality, it just... When really your siblings or your partner or whoever the fuck, you know what I mean? They're just like, hey, fuck you. Like, I don't like you anymore. Because now you're like, oh, hey, I'm here with all this money, but you're like, where were you when I had these issues and I didn't have a friend? Yeah. Or, you know what I mean, a fucking brother or whatever the case was. Like, you can't be shitty towards people and then expect them, when you make it, to be like, oh, hey guys, we can be friends now. You know what I mean? I'm chilling. No. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're just going to be unhappy. You're going to get there. It's the tell of all, or the, what? It happens all the time. They say, like, rich people are miserable. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which I don't think is true. I think if you have wealth and you have a real reason of why you want it, and I think to an extent some billionaires are, like, I don't know, recently I think Elon Musk is depressed just because all the shit that he's been through. I can't imagine having him to deal with the social media and the X and probably the shit that he sees that we don't see. Yeah, like the craziness of what I don't think that moneyness will mean happiness unless you're happy having nothing already. if you're not happy at the bottom, what makes you think that you're going to be happy at the top?
No, and that's what I'm trying. Yeah, that's 100%. I agree with that. That's what I realized is like, if you can't be happy in the struggle, then you're not going to be fucking happy with money.
Absolutely not.
You're going to be, if you're miserable while you don't have money, you're going to be more miserable with money. If you're happy with no money, you're going to be happier with money, right?
Which I do love Elon, but I mean, that guy has the toughest job in the fucking world right now.
Yeah. I do genuinely, I've changed my perception on super rich people. I do genuinely think that most super rich people are philanthropists. Or how do you say it?
Philanthropist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think that, like, if you actually...
Either.
Huh?
I'm not articulate either, actually.
So, I don't know. Like, if you look at it, a lot of people post all the bad shit, but I'm talking about not people like Selena that want to keep up with the status and they're not wealthy. Because to me, wealth is wealth, like real money, right?
Right.
Not 200 or whatever that is, and then keeping up with the Jones, which is what most people do. I think most very successful people give back to their communities.
Yeah.
And I just like look at that, and maybe I'm biased because of the people that I watch, but that's who.
Yeah, well, everyone wants to buy the flashy chains or the newest pair of clothes, but like, how are you actually doing financially?
Yeah.
You're just trying to look flashy.
Yeah, I still drive around the same beat fucking car from high school, and I don't care. You know what I mean? I know. I'm confident in myself and what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's your idea of what success is, me having a nice car, okay.
So that is some people's
it's funny.
idea of success.
To me, that's broke. I mean,
yeah.
When I see somebody with a nice car at Blue Beacon and I know what you get paid an hour, and I'm like, you just bought a $30,000 car. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're gonna be making payments on that.
That's your income for the year, bud.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting paid this year, $30K.
I know they're not paying that shit off a year.
No. It's gonna take like 6 years. Like, it's just stupid. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people are like that right now. There's a balance because like I'm saying like what you just said, which is like, sometimes you just need to, Dad was saying this, like you need to learn to let go. So spend some money, right? Let go do nice things. But there's also a fine line, you know what I mean? A lot of kids our age just don't give a fuck in general about money. And that's crazy.
I'm drinking all the time, wasting money. I was like that. I was spending a lot of money.
And then when you're 30, you wake up.
When you stop, you're like, fuck, dude.
When you're 30 and you wake up and you're like, why the fuck don't I have anything? And you play the poor me story of,
I'm a victim.
Things should have went better for me. It's like, no, dude, you never actually took a hold of your life. Life doesn't happen for you. You have to go get it.
Right, yeah.
Period.
The world isn't just going to hand you out this money and say, okay.
Well, I think everybody thinks they're going to get this big break.
Yeah. Right.
You're not. You create your own big break. Me and Dad talk about this all the time. I don't know if you think this is true. Mm-hmm. Everybody, you'll get successful, right? Like you'll have a big, 1 year you'll just have a big year, right? Because you've grinded for years. You've saved money. You've done all the tedious, which is funny. People like to be successful just is tedious, right? It's boring. You do the same monotonous shit over and over and over. You make sure you're budgeting well.
I like routine.
I do. I love it. But some people get bored. Like a lot of people don't like routine.
I've heard the people say that so much. But dude, like you're out here doing like the most stupidest shit and you think that's amusing to you?
Yeah.
Just silly.
Or getting drunk and then having a fucked up, like you think it's funny to look back on, but you said a lot of hurtful shit and I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Grow up. It's silly to me. I get what you mean though.
Yeah.
What were you talking about? What you and Dad were talking about?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Are you talking about like once you get to the top and
then everybody's like, oh, what happened? John got his break. They think you're an overnight success story, right? They say that with influencers too. When 9 out of 10 times those guys just grinded. They did it because they loved it.
Consistency.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason.
Consistency is the most powerful thing.
It really is, yeah.
If you can
that doesn't stop.
Over hard work.
Once you get to the top, he knows that he's going to have to still keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him.
But he's also just genuinely a good fucking dude. And that's where I'm changing my whole perspective. I see these kids at work and there's people with these demeanors and they're just so positive. They're undeniable is what I was just talking to Dad about this morning. So being undeniable. And when you're undeniable, you can be good at your job, right? You can even be great at your job. But if you're undeniable, when you have that positive energy, you come to work every day, you do what you need to do, and you're just positive, right? You're really good to the people, you're good, have good rapport with your managers, you just get promoted.
Right.
It really does just happen.
Uh-huh.
Or if you're a positive guy and like you're an entrepreneur, people will gravitate towards you. Your business will start to do well.
Yeah, good people around you.
So just genuinely being a positive person, a good person, you know what I mean? What are your reasons? And it goes back to what is the reasons that you're doing it for? And I really think that if you talk to Dad, he just wants to be a good person in our community, right? And that's just been his reoccurring dream, you know what I mean, for us to have success and just to be known as a good dude, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And that can take longer because a lot of people like to take shortcuts and fuck people on the way to the top. But I think his way of success is way more sustainable and it's going to be way more enjoyable. You know what I mean? Because he knows why he's there.
Yeah.
He's going to still go give clothes, or their mom and him are still going to go see Bernie, or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? They're still going to be giving back. It's just going to be more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's my goal in life. I just want to be known as a good dude, you know?
Yeah, that's a good goal, man.
And I have good relationships with my friends, family, whatever, you know? But I want success too. And I think everybody thinks it's weird. Like Keith.
So what is your success? Your success is like money?
Success for me is all those things. Good relationships, money, and
yeah.
And I think people think it's taboo to talk about wanting to be successful. Like,
to be honest, I don't care about money as much as I care about just being financially stable.
Well, I had a conversation about...
I could care less if I had a lot of money, as long as I'm financially stable.
But wouldn't you say you're financially stable right now?
Close. I'm pretty financially stable. I'm not like struggling by any means to make payments.
Uh-huh.
But do I get to live the lifestyle that I actually want to live? Like, I can't just... I want to really start doing jiu-jitsu full time and doing boxing.
You love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
but
me.
It's expensive.
You're me. You just... So it's funny, like, you found your hobby too, which is... I go back to what I did as a child. I was so confused. Like, I was looking at myself after I got... Because I started getting into this... just what I like to do, and I was like, I don't know what I like to do, and I'm like,
it's a fucking fun
and I'm like,
sport.
You know what you like to do.
Yeah.
You always did sports as a kid, and it wasn't because Dad told you to, because Dad didn't give a fuck if we did sports. It was just like you genuinely like to wrestle, do any or whatever it was. Like you wanted just to compete.
It's the most disciplined fucking sport, and I literally had a little kid I was rolling with putting me in choke holds and making me tap out. This kid is 10 years old, Isaac.
Yeah, that's awesome.
10 fucking years old. He literally doesn't even weigh 100 pounds yet.
Yeah.
He's making me tap out. Obviously, I'm going easy on him.
Yeah.
I'm just going to slam him to the ground or some shit. But the fact that he can still submit me.
Yeah, is awesome.
Yeah, that's insane.
And they're all super respectful. I love the whole culture.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're great guys.
You're never going to
be a place where like you can see drug addicts and fucking cops get along in one place. It's like, Jesus Christ.
But then also, like, I don't think those guys are the ones that are going to be combative when they leave that area. They're just, like, good people, genuinely.
Yeah.
Any of those guys I talk to, they're just, like, just good people. No ego. Just let it go.
I would have to disagree with the ego thing. All fighters have a big ego. I think you kind of need one. But
for sure, like, you have self-belief, right?
Yeah.
For sure has to be very high.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, there's a difference between being a good training partner and a bad training partner. Like being a douchebag because you want to win a sparring session is just fucking stupid.
Yeah,
why would you want to?
There are people like that in the MMA community.
Yeah,
I've met them already.
Mom and Dad watched a huge firefight between me and this dude because I told him I'm only doing boxing because I tore my ACL at the time, and this motherfucker started kicking my leg.
Really?
So we got in a real firefight. Like we were fighting, and then Shippy finally broke us up because I slammed him on his head. But I'm just like, I don't understand.
He still kicked you in the leg after you told me he was in ACL.
Yeah, he was mad. He said that I was punching hard, and I told him he was punching hard. But I picked up the intensity for sure. Like when he punched me, because I can tell when somebody's going hard, or like some people just punch harder, but you can tell by the movement of their body if they're putting their ass into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was putting his ass into it. He wanted to hurt me. And that's not why we're here. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna try to fucking hurt me, I'm okay with that. But
Yeah, your goal is to go through the movements.
Yeah.
Your goal is, and you're gonna know how to pick it up when you're in an actual fight.
Yeah.
I think that's where that's just the American way. I think other cultures are better at that with sports.
I definitely
Like
think
Russians.
I think you need hard sparring for sure.
Really?
100%.
I don't know if you need hard sparring.
You don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
So like,
Because you're gonna know how to go hard in a real fight.
Not necessarily true. Like wrestling, you wrestle hard, right? So
You don't have to wrestle hard in wrestling either. I don't think you do. You go through the movements and you do the motions, and then you're gonna know how to do that in a real fight.
Because this is why I believe this.
Uh-huh.
Wrestling, we had hard days.
And you don't do that in Russia, and they're the best at wrestling. They're better than American wrestlers.
They're typically overtrainers, I think.
Well, that's because they're not going 100% hard. It's literally a game to them.
I think the dynamic is, I don't know. The way I look at it,
even in Cuba.
It just depends on the athlete.
Even in Cuba, they're not worried about the strength because they know your power is going to be there in a real fight. They're more worried about speed when they're sparring. I don't think you have to spar 100%.
Max Holloway talks about this. Sugar Sean talks about this. Conor McGregor talks about this. You can cut back sparring if you've actually done it. So meaning, yes, I don't think in the later years of your life you need to train hard because your body's going to know what you need to do because you've done it a lot. But
it comes back to a real fight. You're going to know how to do a real fight if you've already
not necessarily true. I know people that.
Why is that not true?
I know people that hit pads that look great in their shit in fights. Like Mike Tyson, everybody's hyping up this fight. Quote me on this.
Pads are different than sparring.
Mike Tyson gets knocked out by.
Maybe they just don't spar enough.
Or like, I'm just saying training in general. I just think you need hard training sometimes. But there's a time and a place. Like on days.
Hard training, but sparring?
Yes, hard
sparring doesn't make sense to me.
Hard sparring, we would put on headgear. Like we have days where you do hard sparring.
It still doesn't make sense. Why would you?
You're not like what you're thinking. Not a real fight. You're going like 60 or 50 or 40%. But you're going harder. You need to know what it's like.
That's not hard sparring though.
You need to know what it's like to get punched in the face. Actually get punched in the face.
Yeah, but you're gonna know what that feels like in a real fight. I feel like a lot of people already know, like in the MMA community, what it's like to get punched in the face.
I don't.
To me, it's just
you put on leg. There's a lot of protection there. You put on your leg pads, whatever it is. When you go into a real fight, it's just different.
Yeah, but the protection is there, so you don't get hurt. It's the same with sparring. Why would you want to hurt your partner?
No, but you obviously like you have to get used. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think that's true. I think in wrestling, even if you're looking at yourself, you train hard. We had every practice was hard. So I don't even know if that was true for your training.
I think it was unnecessary though. I've actually completely changed my way of jiu-jitsu. I'm like, even when I'm rolling with people, I'm not going 100%. I'm more focused on the actual moves that I'm doing. Because I know if I were to actually roll with someone on the streets or to do it in a real life, I'd be going 100%. I know what it's like to go 100%. That's natural for everyone to go 100%.
I don't think that is natural. I think if you
Why is it not natural to go 100%?
You're just like, listen to my point.
You know how to push yourself in the gym, don't you?
Yeah, but like I've done it. Okay. I do it every day.
Yeah.
But you're talking to a guy that doesn't do that way of training. And also, I'm not disagreeing with you as far as...
I also don't think you need to go 100% in the gym all the way. Like the RPE of...
Man, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, you got to listen to my point. I'm just saying in general, I like to push myself because of my own mental capacity. I'm not saying my way is the best at training either. That's what works for me. I like to push myself beyond. Yeah. I want to just see what I can do. That's different.
That's not the whole point of fighting, though. Yeah. Is to push yourself.
I agree with that. And I'm not saying that technique is 100% the first thing you should always learn. So you should never go hard if you've never actually learned how to fight, period.
Yeah.
I believe that in wrestling. I believe that in any form of sports in general. Like, you should never, ever... Technique is number one, period. But I do just think there's... Like, if I'm ramping up for a wrestling tournament, I just think it's different when you're two men and you're literally... It's real. It's real. And you can't recreate real. Conor talks about that. Conor does hard sparring still. Sugar Sean does hard sparring. Max Holloway talks about not doing as much hard sparring, but he did it a lot, and that's why he thinks he doesn't need to do it anymore. It's just, it's different when you're there and you're under the lights. People are watching you. You need to be able to know that your body can withstand, I guess, like, you're gonna be fucked up, dude. Like you're gonna have days where you risk injury. I know during those hard sparring sessions, but I don't know. I don't think they should be multiple times a week. I just think you should implement it.
Yeah.
But with a good partner. Because if you're hard sparring with some dumbass that doesn't hard sparring, right? Like just ramping it up a notch. But if you're doing that with some dumbass that's like throwing haymakers and then you get knocked the fuck out, like that's crazy. I'm not saying like knock each other out, but just you're putting more pop on your punches. You're throwing. I think we did body shots. We would throw them really like we'd let them go, but like no head shots. We're not gonna hit each other hard in the head. Like things like that we did not do, but realize like knowing what it's like to get hit hard in your kidneys or your liver, you know what I mean, get dropped. Like those things you can't recreate. You have to have adversity. So you have to get up. You know what I mean? No different than wrestling. But I don't know. I don't think any training's wrong because I know people that don't spar and I think they're great fighters.
Yeah, there's different ways of fighting. I just believe in a different culture than you.
Yeah. And I think your culture's way more sustainable for sure. And I agree with you. That's why when I talk to you about it, I agree with you. I just like to, I guess, overtrain. I don't know. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
I just want to see where I can push myself, I guess, to the fullest extent.
Yeah, I think it's okay to push yourself every once in a while. Like I said, like if you're in the gym and you're going to actual muscle failure, I might do that like every other week. Is it unnecessary to do it every week? No.
It's not even.
It's the same thing with fighting.
You're probably fucking yourself, honestly. Recovery and all the other shit.
If I'm doing hard sparring and I'm sparring like once a week all the time, I'm not gonna hard spar all the time. No, I can kind of get what you mean, I guess, now from your perspective of feeling what it means to get hit and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do think you're going to know how to throw a punch, though, personally.
No, a punch I do, but, like, I think there's a lot of things.
Kick, whatever.
Yeah, no, you're going to know those things.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think just, like, when you get in there,
But then again, pushing yourself in the ring, too, you're going to, like, that is pushing yourself also.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
I think just technique. I believe in what you said is 100% as far as technique should be number one. So what you're saying, if I go into fucking jiu-jitsu tomorrow, I'm not going to fucking be, dude, I have no pot to piss in. Show me technique. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go in there and just see if I can wrestle you. It's not the goal. I want to learn.
Yeah, it's different. It's
you know what I mean?
Well, dude, I saw Bo Nickel and Gordon Ryan. It was kind of weird because it was jiu-jitsu format, but no submission. It was such a close fight. It was actually really close. Gordon Ryan did barely. Gordon Ryan was the more offensive guy. But
Bo Nickel was definitely not on any peptides or geared out of his mind.
Yeah.
So that's a very big... And,
yeah, he is smaller.
And Gordon Ryan is way bigger.
Bo Nickel's fucking good, bro.
He's great.
I was actually surprised by the level of performance that he was able to go against Gordon Ryan, because I even thought John Jones did worse when he was like going against Gordon Ryan.
Bo Nickel's a way better wrestler.
Yeah, Bo Nickel's way better than John Jones, and I didn't know that. John Jones is fucking good, dude.
Wrestling, for sure.
Yeah.
But MMA style wrestling, I don't know if Bo Nickel's better than John Jones. It's different.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of his fights, honestly.
You got to read kicks and everything else. It's to be determined. I'm not going to say he's not as good. That's crazy to say. We haven't seen enough of him yet.
Yeah.
So he hasn't fought challenging enough. It's kind of like Hamzat. Hamzat, we thought he was a godly wrestler, and I think he's fucking fantastic. But then you put him against there with the top 5 like Gilbert Burns, and you realize he's human. Does that make sense? Because Gilbert Burns defended a lot of those takedowns, and he actually ended up taking down Hamzat. But Hamzat is not a decorated wrestler. He does what is it? Sambo or whatever it is.
Which is pretty much Greco.
It's like wrestling style.
All upper body.
Yeah. And that's what the best wrestling, I think, for MMA, because any of those Russians, Khabib, Hamzat, any of those guys that learned Sambo, they're the best fighters in the UFC right now. 100%.
Yeah.
Like they're always.
I can see that.
Any wrestler too. I just think wrestling in general, they're still the best fighters. Like, I don't know. They're just, you can't beat somebody if they take your feet and
I think if you master both wrestling and jiu-jitsu, then you're unlimited.
Yeah. Which Khabib was a great submitted everybody too. So I think
he
like
did know some level of jiu-jitsu.
But I think wrestling is superior over any striking, jiu-jitsu, any of it. Like if you just only knew wrestling, if you're the best wrestler, you're gonna be better than a guy on the mat that does just standard jiu-jitsu.
I don't think that's true. Gordon Ryan beat both.
Gordon Ryan doesn't do standard jiu-jitsu. He's not a butt scooter. He's a wrestler. He does aggressive.
Well,
it's not like
jiu-jitsu in a way that he knows how to submit. He's the best submission artist that I've ever seen.
Yes, and I'm agreeing with that, but I'm saying like
he doesn't play the game where you butt scoot. He is actually the guy that is like all past your guard.
Yeah. And he's aggressive. He
doesn't even play the game.
And he really is aggressive. Like he'll literally take you down like a wrestler. A lot of I don't think it's
I've seen him do some weird shit against Bo Nickel where he was like trying to scissor him, bro. Like where he put his legs like between his legs and made him like fall. Like he literally just like turned upside down and kind of like kicked him and like from there you just scramble to see if he gets on top or whatever what happens. But it was weird. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Well, usually you would do that. He was pushing the rules because you're not supposed to do submission or guard. But I think he was pushing the rules a bit. Because usually in that format of jiu-jitsu, you do a leg lock and fucking break their leg. But he used it actually to just make them fall, I guess.
Yeah. Which is weird. Wrestling goes right into, like if you wrestle, you can go right into jiu-jitsu. But if you do jiu-jitsu, you can't go right into wrestling. That's what I'm saying. It's just different.
Yeah, you can't.
Lower level, it's different. Like if you put a fucking jiu-jitsu guy with a wrestler, dude, you go take him to wrestling practice, they're getting fucking actually digged on.
Yeah, they are.
You put me in a you or anybody that just like actually if you're just going hard and you didn't know shit, you're gonna give them a run for their money. They're still probably 100% if you're good. Like they're gonna fucking beat you, obviously. But I'm saying you have a chance. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the culture of jiu-jitsu is changing too. Like Gordon Ryan has created a style that's aggressive that I want to watch.
Dude,
I want to watch you.
I love watching him actually.
I want to watch you actually like press the measure. Like this was a real fight.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to watch jiu-jitsu when I see somebody on their back and they're just fucking butt scooting and I'm like, dude, why? Yeah. And it's hard. I love wrestling. It's hard for me to watch somebody like Khabib just take somebody down the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know that's the most effective way. You know what I mean? I love mixed martial arts, I guess, is what it comes down to. I want to see you strike, wrestle.
Yeah, I want to see a well-rounded fighter.
Exactly.
That knows how to do it all.
Like a Usman or, I'm trying to think. He just came off my head.
John Jones.
John Jones, obviously, 100%. Like, those guys are just good at everything.
Yeah, they are.
And those guys scare me. Mm-hmm. You know? A Tim Kennedy. I think,
Tim Kennedy,
God, I wish he would have came around just a little bit later. Like, if he was just born a little bit later, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He would have been such a great fighter. Just came around right before the UFC got
He was a great fighter.
He was a great fighter. Just came around right before he could get some real money.
Same with Yoel Romero. He was a great fighter, but he came in old.
Yeah.
So
kind of a cheater.
Yeah.
Did a lot of
the one with Tim Kennedy, he for sure cheated. A lot of them you think were?
Oh, he's done some shit. Like where he's faked, like, I don't know. It's weird. I watch, like, even Usman's done shit like that, too. Where they'll go back and he'll say they kicked him in the nuts, but it was actually a liver shot. Who was that against?
Talking about Leon Edwards?
I think it was Leon Edwards.
I thought Leon Edwards definitely kicked him in the nuts. I thought Leon Edwards was playing dirty.
I love instant replay. If you go back, it was a liver shot, but they fought twice, and I can't remember what fight it was. Leon Edwards is definitely dirty, but Usman's really dirty in a lot of fights, so yeah, I'm probably matching your energy. If I feel like you're going to be a fucking tool, I'm going to do everything to be.
Makes sense, yeah.
But, I don't know. Some of the shit Leon Edwards was doing was crazy, because I think he grabbed inside the gloves a few times on a few fights that I watched, which is insane. That's a crazy advantage.
Yeah.
Like, if you're grabbing the inside of someone's gloves, they cannot get out of your grip. That's insane.
They do that in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They grab your clothing. I don't think that's stupid, too, because...
Well, not in street fight.
Yeah, if they're wearing a long sleeve shirt, I mean, though, but I don't know.
Well, even in a real fight, if I grab your fucking short
collar,
sleeve, yeah,
you can grab a collar.
Yeah. So it's different. It just depends on if you're like looking at sport or street is different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I guess I look at, like, you know what I mean? If you put in,
when you get in a street fight, are you boxing right away, or are you gonna? I don't know. The more I do jiu-jitsu, bro, I'm like, should I just stab someone's arm? Like that'd be honestly, cool in a street fight.
when I
That'd be
changed my
crazy.
mind about like street fights in general is
Uh-huh.
it was something that you said and Dad said, which is like you go hard, quick. And I
Yeah.
always looked at fighting, like real fighting, like sports, and that's not. It's different. So like if you're gonna get in a street fight with somebody, you better be willing to really hurt them bad. And
Yeah.
that changed my whole mind. I was like, oh, I'm not fighting anybody ever again. Like I've never elbowed somebody in the face in a fucking street fight, but if you do that, you could really kill somebody, knee them in the face. Basically, how I look at it now is I should never be in a fight.
It's not fair when you're in a street fight.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be
It
fair.
should only be do or die.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna fight somebody ever again on this planet, unless sport. Like you know what I mean, or I'm scared for my life. Like if I really think you're pressing the measure, and
I black out. Like when I'm in that mode, bro, I'm not thinking.
oh, if yeah,
I'm just like I'm gonna kill this guy.
yeah,
That's how I am.
and I think you can read body language. Like Dad said this too, and it's true. If you feel like that, if you want to fight that person wants to fight you.
Yeah.
So it's just done. Like
Well, all men want to fight. I have it in my urge that I want to fight everybody. All men are like that. It's a natural.
I'm saying like if you feel like if you're in a situation and a guy's getting
like an actual.
Yeah.
Like, really.
So like if you
Yeah.
feel like somebody's getting aggressive, I'm stopping it right there. Like I am gonna. You know what I mean? If I feel like we've done everything.
Yeah.
And you continue to get closer and closer. I'm grabbing you, and we're.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
the
done
guy that makes the
immediately.
first move.
Yeah, because if you're not,
Okay.
and there's no stand your ground law in Salina either. So like,
Yeah.
either way, you're both going to jail. You know what I mean? If you feel like your life's in danger, you better be the first one to punch because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah. The only fight I lost, I've been quite a few fights, but was the fight that I was drunk when that guy was being a fucking cocksucker and they were feeding me beers the whole night. That had to have been a setup. I don't know.
The whole thing seemed like a setup. Is crazy. The way watching the video, the way he caught you right when you're leaving the house is insane.
Well, I went back because I was pissed.
Yeah, but like he rolled, like they waited till you were leaving. It's weird.
Yeah, I should have just waited till I wasn't intoxicated. But
And then you were beating the fuck out of him, and then you were just, I think in the video just looked
he
like
got
you-
on top of me because
Yeah.
I was a fat fuck.
Well, and it just looked like you were intoxicated. It looked like you just weren't
Yeah.
ready. You weren't expecting big chunky boy to actually fucking
Yeah.
pick you up.
That's when I was at my skinniest too, I guess.
But I feel like if you rest, like I was telling Dad this, I like even in that fight at your smallest, if you would have literally just picked him up right away, it's a different story, right? It's just, I don't know. You let shit like that go. Everybody's fucking can lose. That's what I
I
realized.
didn't get
too.
knocked out,
Yeah,
but I did break an orbital.
100%. I think we all fucking can take some punches, dude.
Yeah.
Me and you have been in some fights with some big boys.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
I've never been
never been knocked out, huh?
ever.
Yeah.
I've been hit hard. I mean, damn, we can't. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, we've been in a lot of fights
Yeah.
growing up, bro. I remember when Isaac and I would fucking go to like the playground just to fight.
Suppose some dumb shit. Yeah.
Yeah, over like some stupid shit.
But I don't think I was ever in a fight that a kid didn't like wasn't pressing the matter first. Like, and I mean that honestly. Like, if you're coming up to me and like even with that little fucker that I fought when I was 13, that 18-year-old, remember him?
Yeah, that guy turned out to be a pedophile.
No, it looks like I did us a favor.
Yeah, he did do a favor, bro. He did a service to the community.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But even with him, like he came up to me like in his aggressive manner, I just grabbed him right away. That was just my reaction. Like it's like I don't even know. Like my body was just like, oh, grab him. So I grabbed him. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like I was even thinking about fighting him. It was just like, you're getting really close to me and you're saying you want to fight me. Like I'm gonna pick you up right away.
Right. No, he wasn't ready. He was all talk.
Yeah.
He was not ready for that shit.
I guess I don't know. If you feel like it should just be a last resort thing, but for sure.
Yeah. I think it was a pretty good podcast.
Me too, man.
Playing right there. Thank you guys for watching.